Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we masech the Sotah daf Chaf Gimel. We're going to begin in the middle of a Mishnah on Chaf Beis Amud Beis, 4 lines from the bottom. Nitmis minchasa. Let's say the mincha of the Sotah became tamei. So ad shul kod shebekli, but it was before it was put into a kli. So harhi kechol hamanachais. So it has the same status of any mincha offering. Says Rashi, shenitmu, that became tamei before it was kodesh in a kli, v'tipada, and it can be redeemed. And Rashi says v'teitzel chulin hamois yikna acheres. With that money, you can purchase another flour offering, because since it was not yet put into a kli sharis, it did not yet accept upon itself an element of kedushas haguf. However, once that happens, it now has an element of kedushas haguf, and it cannot simply go out to chulin. You have no choice but to burn it. These are the following cases in which, when it comes to this woman who's a Sotah, the din is that it has to be burned. As we continue, Chaf Gimel Manav. If she says that I'm impure, in other words, she admits to her guilt that she was in fact intimate with this other man that she secluded herself with. Furthermore, if you have witnesses that come and says she's tamei, if she refuses to drink, or for that matter, if the husband says that I don't want my wife to drink, that if while they were traveling for her to be tested, they had bia together, the husband and the wife, so that again, we don't have her drink the Sotah, and therefore the mincha, if it was brought, is now burned. The whole hanasuais kohanim, anytime they're married to kohanim, which means we're dealing with an Ashes Kohen, the wife of a Kohen, mincha sehen nisrafais. The mincha offering is burned. This is going to be just the beginning of question 7, which says, Madua minchas Ashes Kohen enoch nechelas. It's not eaten. Ve'en oil kolil. It's not brought up completely up on the mizbech either. El nisrefes ke'etzim. It's burned like fire. O mispazeres al beis hadeshin, or it's scattered by the beis hadeshin, but not on the mizbech. So the Gemara is going to discuss why. Why do we do this? But that's what the Mishnah here says. Now, when it comes to an Ashes Kohen, the din is that her mincha will be burned. However, if you're dealing with a Bas Yisrael, this is a Kohen, so a Bas Yisrael who marries a Kohen, minchas nisrafes. So, as we said, it will be burned, which means even if it's kosher, the Kohen always, the Kohenes shenises Yisrael. However, if you have a Kohenes who ends up marrying a Yisrael, minchas nechelas. So the din is that the mincha is eaten. It says Rashi, the whole minchas kohen kol tiyeh lo siachel. When it comes to a kohen who brings a mincha offering, it has to be completely burned. Of a kohenes and a sul Yisrael. But if, let's say, she married a Yisrael, nechelas, then that mincha offering is eaten. V'chein kohenes almana grusha shehavia minchas nechelas. So ma bein kohen lo kohenes. The Gemara gives, I believe, 4 answers to this question, which is going to be question 8 and also TB4. Mehem arba hachilukim shebein kohen lekohenes. So minchas kohenes nechelas. We already said that if it's a mincha of a woman who is a kohen and she, let's say, marries a Yisrael, for example, so in that situation, the din is that the mincha offering is eaten. That is the din. However, minchas kohen and nechelas. So when it comes to the mincha of a kohen, it's not eaten. So let's say, for example, she's not even married. So we're just talking about she's a bas kohen. So if she brings a mincha offering, that mincha offering is eaten. However, if it's a kohen who brings the mincha offering, it has to be completely burned on the mizbech. Kohenes mechaleles v'kohen ena mischalel. If you have a person who is a kohenes and she marries someone in which her children will be chalalim, so the din is that she will also become profaned, and therefore because of that she will not be able to eat truma if she's boil someone who's apostle. V'kohen ein mischal. However, kohen, even though his children can become chalalim, but he himself will not become a chol. Only he. Says Rashi, Im nasa gerusha zayna v'chalola. If a kohen marries a divorced woman, so this is all explained in the Gemara. Kohenes metamul mesim and kohen metamul mesim. As we know, only isser of a kohen of coming in contact with a mace is if it's a man, but not by a woman. Kohen oichel b'kashi kadashim ve'ein kohenes ocheles b'kashi kadashim. So when it comes to kashi kadashim, like a chatnas, an asham, a mincha, all of them, the pasuk says kol zachar b'kohanim yochelenu. So it says all men. So therefore, it's only kohen, not a kohenes. A kohenes is not allowed to eat kashi kadashim. Again, such as a chatnas, asham, mincha. So ma bein ishal isha. What's the difference between a man and a woman? Right. This is unfortunately a question that near 2023 people can't answer. But the Mishnah is brave enough to answer this question. There is a difference between a man and a woman. Ha'ish poireya upoireim ve'ena isha poras uporamas. What is this referring to? So Rashi says kishu minuga, when she has, or they have saras, leprosy, poireya roisho, you have to let your hair grow wild, upoire begadav, and you have to rip your clothing. That's only by a man, not by a woman. Ha'ish maderes benoi benazir ve'ena isha maderes beno benazir. So saw halachah mishma Sinai that a father can make his son into a nazir, but the mother doesn't have that authority. Ha'ish megaleach on the ziros aviv, ve'ena isha megalechas on the ziros aviha. So if, let's say, and it distinguishes whether it's b'chayeha, b'moisai, the Gemara over there brings down, if a person says that I'm going to become a nazir almanas with the money that my father designated, but he died, I'm going to use that for the karbanos, so then it actually works. That's only by a man. Ha'ish mekadesh es bita, ve'ena ishim es kadesh es bita. Only as bita in the sati shazeh, the husband has the authority to marry off his daughter, not his wife. The ish ma'icher es bita, ve'ena ishim acheres es bita. A man can sell his daughter as a servant. However, says Rashi, Alma is an Alma Bria while she's a katana, which is brought down. The third parak in Ksuas discusses this. The Ish Machera says Bita. However, a woman, the mother, cannot sell her daughter. The Ish Niskal Arum, the Ish Niskal Saruma, when there's the death penalty, only the man is stripped of his clothing and he's naked, but not a woman. The Ish Nitla, the Ish Nitlas. A man, when he is killed, they used to display his body for a short amount of time on a tree. They used to hang him, but he can only do that to a man, not to a woman. If a person steals, and because they stole, you have to pay back what you stole, they don't have any money, so they can be sold as an eved ivri. That's only when it comes to a man, but not to a woman who steals. Okay, says the Gemara. Tanuraban. Kol hanasua isla kahuna. Anyone who marries into kahuna, which means she becomes an ashes kayin, mincha sem nisrafais. So her mincha is burned, and it doesn't make any difference. Says Rashi, if it's a mincha sotah or minchas nedava, it's burnt. Now ketzad ketzad kohenes levivi Yisraelis. If you have any of these women, shenisas lakayin, ein minchas nechelas. The din is that the mincha is not eaten. Why? Because the man, her husband, who is a kohen, here the kohen can't eat, even though the kohanim do eat the shirayim. But here, since by the carbon of a kohen, the whole thing is burned, so the husband here has a chelik to not eat it. Therefore, but not to burn it entirely, because she has a chelik in it. Either only when the kohen, fine. So therefore, because of that, since she has a chelik in it, so therefore it shouldn't be koel. So if it's a kohen that brings it, it's completely burned. If it's a Yisrael that brings it, it's completely eaten by the kohanim, the shirayim. But what do you do when you have this mixture of this woman? So what do you do in this situation? So Elo hakaimitz karev ba'atzmo, you do the kemitza, and then b'hashirayim karevim ba'atzman, and then the shirayim is brought up separately. So ikri kan kol shehu mimenu ishim harihu b'mal taktiru. Well, that's a problem, because once you burn the part which is from the Kamitza, you shouldn't be allowed to burn the Shirayim. So the question is, how could you burn it even Bifnei Atzmai? The rest of the Mincha is as if it's only... So what is the answer? So Amar Yehuda, Bereder Rav Shimon ben Pazi, the Masek Hu L'Shem Eitzim, that the rest of the Mincha is as though it's only like wood. You're right. There's an Isser Bal Taktiru, that once you burn the part of the Kamitza, you're not allowed to be able to burn the Shirayim. But it's only if you're burning the Shirayim as Mincha, but you're burning it like it's firewood. And therefore, that is allowed. Because, as we said, anything that is part of it, which is the Shirayim, is to be part of on the Mizbeach, to be burned. The rest may not be burned. So that's the din. When you burn a certain part, the rest cannot be burned. That's Bal Taktiru. So how do they have a right to be able to burn this? L'chayr, you shouldn't be able to burn it b'fnei atzmo. The answer is, it's only l'shem. It's only being done l'shem the kamitza. As the shirayim is only as like wood. So I wrote over here, either only when the kohen brings it, the carbon is completely burned, but it's her mincha, so her chelik says don't burn it, but do a kamitza. Okay. So therefore, that's what we do as a compromise. You can't eat it because it's connected to the kohen. You can't completely burn it because she has a chelik in it, which is going to be question 7. Again, madua minchas isha kohen enu nechelas enu oil kolil, rather it gets burnt up. So the answer is enu nechelas. You can't eat it mimnei sheisha kohen chelik ba. And since the kohen has a chelik, it's not eaten because like the mincha of a kohen is not eaten. The eno oil kolil, but you don't burn it up completely like a carbon mincha of a kohen. Mimnei sheish leisha chelik ba. So because of this issue, so it's a little bit challenging what a person should do in that situation. So again, you could burn it, but you just do it l'shem eitzim, like it's firewood. Rav Shimon, descendant of Rabbi Elazar, Omer l'reich nechayach yatamala, aval tamalei l'shem eitzim. So you're just not allowed to do it as a reich nechayach, like as a carbon. However, l'shem eitzim is allowed. So anichol Rabbi Elazar de Islay Hai Svara, he agrees with that opinion. El Rabban Leisel who Hai Svara doesn't agree with that. So Michael Maimar. To the Abdul Karab Elazar Rav Shimon, Desanya Rabbi Elazar Rav Shimon Omer, the kaimitz karev ba'atzma. When you first of all you do the kamitza by itself. And then b'hashirayim, not that it's burned on the mizbeach l'shum eitzim, but rather b'shirayim is pazrim al beis hadeshen. What you do is you spread it out, just sprinkle it on the beis hadeshen, not on the mizbeach, and that's all you're going to do. B'shirayim is pazrim al beis hadeshen. As we continue chaf gimel amid beis. Now b'afilu rabban l'pligal Rabbi Elazar Rav Shimon el b'minchas chayte shel kohanim. The only time that he argues is dafka when it comes to minchas chayte, the basak ravihi of a baha fil rabbanan moidu. But in this situation, he'll even agree. The rabban will even agree. Says Rashi, hakravihi, the basak ravihi, avaha the la basak ravihi, the dilma batra didazlina. Maybe we go after her chelik. So we go after her chelik, so it's not allowed to be burned. The shirayim gemurim ninhu, they're complete shirayim. Therefore, it can't be burned, just like a. That's it. Yafil rabban maidu the mispazrin. In this case, even he agrees you have to spread it out in the base of dashan. Then the Mishnah said, "Basi shal hanasui v'chul." So my time never krav v'chul minchas kohen kol tiyeh, that a kohen's minchas be burnt. Lo siachel, it's not to be eaten. Kohen v'loi kohenes. It's only kohen that did is, but not by kohenes. Kohenes mischalel as kohen in a mischalel. No, the Amakra lo yichal zara ba'amam zaroi mischal v'hu in a mischalel. Only his children will become chalalim, but not the man himself. Kohenes mitama v'chul. So my time Amakra emor al kohanim b'nei Aaron v'banos Aaron. That's going to kedushin. So it says dafka b'nei Aaron is matzuv in the din of tum and tahara regarding tumas mace. Kohen oicha b'kachik gadashim dechsiv kol zachar b'vnei Aaron yachalena. Therefore, that excludes the kohenes. Uma ben ish chul taruban ish enli el ish ish amanayin kashu omer basarua asher boy harikan shnayim. So the din of saras is equally applicable for a man and to a woman. So im kain mata whatever ish Indian shalomata ish parei shalomata ish parei v'chulu. So as we said, the difference is when it comes to the growing of the hair wild and the ripping of the clothes. So that is the only distinction. Otherwise, the dinim of saras are the same. Okay. Ha'ish madaras b'no b'nazir and ish madaras b'no b'nazir. Rabbi Yochanan halachi b'nazir. He knows machlokes Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. So Rabbi Yochanan, who we apparently hold like, it's a halacha mosh mesina by nazir, that this din applies only by a man, that he's allowed to make his son into a nazir, but his wife can't do that for their son. Ish megaleach on the ziris aviv and ish megalachas on the ziris aviha. Rabbi Yochanan halacha he b'nazir. Again, it's halacha mosh mesina that, as we said, if the father, for example, has money and he designates for karbanos because he had saras, he was a nazir rather, and then after the father died, the son says, you know what, I'll be a nazir now also. I'll deny that I could use this for the karbanos. So that din only works, that his naziris is chal only by a man, and he can use his father's money or his animals. That's dafka the man that marries her off. So the whole din of selling off your daughter is only the man has that right. So only the man who is dying gets stoned naked. My time of ragmu oso him. Excluding her, it says explicitly that she also gets killed. It means him without clothing, but her we're not going to do that. Again, it shows the dignity that we show in the respect for a woman. Nitla the ain chulu. So my time Amrakra the salisa osal eights osavlo osa. We only hang a man, but not a woman. Why would we not sell her for stealing? It's only by him, and as Rashi says, if he can't pay it off, so therefore we say we're going to sell him, and therefore that's how we'll be able to pay the person he stole from. That din only applies to a man, not to a woman. We will continue the fourth parak. Arusa v'shemesh yavam lo shaisais lo noitos ksuba in tomorrow's daf. Adkan.